I love featuring new brands here on the channel, and I love to feature brands that are affordable and offer something a little bit different than all of the other run-of-the-mill micro brands. Not that there's anything wrong with those watches, however, as you collect a lot of watches, you want something a little bit out of the ordinary. If you want something unusual, usually with micro brands, it's a little bit hard to find because it costs a lot of money and research and development to make something that's out of the ordinary. Today, we're taking a look at a watch that does something a little bit different from all the other watches that I've featured here on my channel, and it's very affordable, under $400. It's from a brand called Portal, and this is their Zen Master inspired by Zen Gardens. Without further ado, let's flip the camera and take a look at a very interesting release that's also affordable. Original design is very hard to come by, especially in the micro brand space and especially under $400. However, this watch is an original design and it's under $400 at their initial offering of this watch. So if you like this watch, I definitely suggest jumping on this because it will be going up in price. Currently, it is sub $400. We'll talk about price in just a few minutes, but this is called the Zen Master because of the dial. It is meant to look like a Zen garden. If you've ever seen a Zen garden, you see when the sand is raked, it has this pattern from the rake. That's the pattern that you're getting on this dial, and it's beautiful. It actually looks really good. That pattern is slightly textured, so it's more of a pattern, less of a texture, and this is definitely a very good looking or interesting looking dress watch. Depends on if you like the design elements here, because you are getting a fluted bezel, which makes it look very dressy, but that fluted bezel is bead blasted, and they've used a lot of bead blasting on this case. It's in 316L stainless steel. Basically, the entire case is bead blasted, and then all of the edges are polished. You don't see that very often as a design choice. There is just a little bit of brushing just on the sides of these lugs, and the lugs are gorgeous on this watch. I love lugs like this, especially on a strap. Not so much on a bracelet. Actually, I think it works better on a strap. This does have the option to add a rubber strap to it. Rubber strap because this gets 100 meters of water resistance because you get a screwed-in crown and a screwed-in case back. So we'll get back to those details in just a few seconds. I want to talk about these lugs a little bit more. They are really flared out. They're flared out towards the center of the case. And you see that line of polish that goes on the top of each one of the lugs. It really is a beautiful design. I've seen this design element on other watches, but watches that cost a lot more money, not this inexpensive. And you have a silver dial, so it's sort of matching the rest of the case as well. And then there are gold elements, so gold plated elements, obviously. You have applied indices. Those are faceted. The hands are in gold. The tip of the hand is in gray, so to match the rest of the case design and the case color. And then the crown, which is on the smaller side, that is in gold as well. It's only 4.3 millimeters. It definitely could be larger because this is a 40 millimeter watch. It measures exactly at 40 millimeters at the bezel, at the case. And then you have a 49 millimeter lug to lug. This is a very long lug to lug. It wears true to the 49 millimeters because you get straight end links on this bracelet, and I'll show you how that works in just a few seconds. It's also thin. You get a sapphire crystal on the front and the back, and you get to see the movement from the back. That is a Miyota 9015 because you have a date window at the 3 o'clock. That is next to the index at 3 o'clock, and again, you have a gold surround around that date window. But including both that front and back sapphire crystal, this comes in at 10.3 millimeters thick. That is excellent. The crown is screwed in because you are getting 100 meters of water resistance. So considering that this is an automatic with 100 meters of water resistance, 10.3 millimeters is excellent. The bracelet is very interesting. You can see there's a straight end on the bracelet. That's because this portion of the bracelet is actually part of the case. It looks like it's part of the bracelet, especially when you have it straight head on. However, when you move it like this, which in no circumstance would this ever fall like this on your wrist, so you would never notice that this wasn't part of the bracelet, you notice that there is a gap between the bracelet and that end link, which is part of the case. Very interesting design, but what that allows is that the case folds down perfectly. Actually, it comes in shorter than the actual lug to lug. This is probably around 48 millimeters. At the case, it's 49 millimeters, but it will wear like a 49 millimeter watch. The bracelet is a 3-link bracelet. You have large lines of polish down the center links, on the sides of the center links. And it is a chamfered edge, so it's actually a really nice edge along the entire bracelet. It's essentially all bead blasted. You have screwed links and quick release. So this is a really nice bracelet. I wish it tapered a little bit more for my tastes, but other than that, it does taper a little bit. Maybe a little bit more would be nice, in my opinion. Again, you have a silver gray dial at the top of the dial, right below the 12 o'clock index. You just have the brand name. Right above the 6 o'clock, it says Zen Master. Right below that, it says Founders Edition, because this is the Founders Edition. I think that's for the first 100 watches sold, but I'm not entirely sure. It could be this edition is the Founders Edition. I couldn't find that information on their website, but like I said, it just says Founders Edition there. So if you get in on that first 100, I'm sure all of those are Founder Editions. I highly recommend getting in early on this, like I said, because the price on this is $379. You get a Miyota 9015, which you can see from the back. The rotor is in gold tone, and it's decorated very similar to the dial. You have a sapphire crystal on the back, screwed in, again, 100 meters of water resistance. The price will go up after that first 100 watches are sold, and it will go up to $429, which I don't think is a bad price for this. Even then, at that $429, I think it's worth it, because this is a very good looking watch. It's a very interesting watch. When you look at it on its side and the case, the bracelet, the interaction between the case and the bracelet, very interesting. It's a 40 millimeter watch, but you do have a long lug to lug, so that might be a problem for some. But because of the design, it might wear comfortable on smaller wrists as well. On my wrist today, I have my Timex Expedition North GMT in titanium. This is one of the best titanium watches that you can get under or around $500. I think it's just over $500. Really great watch from Timex. I'm so happy they came out with this. And I put it on the James brand bracelet. So its cousin, the James brand, has the Miyota movement inside, which is more expensive. That's like an $800 watch. This gets no bracelet. So I took the bracelet from that watch and put it on here, and I think it looks great. And there is the Zen Master on my 7.5 inch wrist. This is a 40 millimeter watch with a 49 millimeter lug to lug, a 10.3 millimeter thickness, and you can see it wears very thin to the wrist. That bracelet looks amazing. You would not notice that the end links are actually part of the case. I think that integration looks fantastic, and it's a really great idea because it will make this watch wear slightly smaller on smaller wrists. So I think this would actually work good for a small wrist. I do want to also mention that this gets an extra hard coating. So this prototype doesn't have the extra hard coating. However, the production models will have an extra hard coating, and it will look exactly the same as this watch does. Really good looking watch for $379 at that early bird. So the Kickstarter is sometime in March. I will put a link to their website, to the Kickstarter, down in the description below. Definitely check them out on Kickstarter. Definitely check out their website. There you go, guys. Tell me what you think of this watch down in the comment section. I want to hear from you guys. Do you like the design here? Is it something different? I think it's something different. I really like that they went with a fully bead blasted case. Very little polish on here, very little brushing, but it stands out because everything is bead blasted. So it looks kind of dressy and very different. But that's my opinion. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. That's really it, guys. No loom on here. I wish there was a little bit of loom here, but it could mess up the design a little bit. Maybe in the future they could play around with that Zen garden design and make it in loom. That would be pretty awesome, but maybe I just gave them a really good idea for a future model. That would be pretty cool as well. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. That's really it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for joining me today, and I will catch you guys in the next video.